Tchaikovsky wrote a set of 12 seasons for piano, one for each month. And when we get to June, it has the subtitle Barcarolle as a Venetian boat song. And it's a sweet and melancholic, beautiful melody that kind of stays with you, because it really savors the G minor scale and tonality. Tchaikovsky was commissioned to write these, one small piece for each month, to be published in a music magazine in Russia. And for every piece, there's a subtitle and an epigraph published next to the music that served as an inspiration for it. For June, it was these lines by the poet Alexei Pleshiev. "Let us go to the shore, there the waves will kiss our feet. With mysterious sadness, the stars will shine down on us." So that's why we have such a sad melody. It's really nothing more than a simple G minor scale. And this note, F sharp, that always leads to G, it's called a leading note. So we get the accompaniment to kind of start off the piece by itself. Setting the scene. Kind of answers the right hand in a dialogue with these chromatic notes. Really lovely atmosphere it creates. Now we get the melody again, but this time it goes somewhere different. This is the first super lovely chord in this piece. So now we go to a B flat major chord. It's called a relative chord to G minor because they're closely related, B flat major to G minor. And as you can see, we have F natural instead of F sharp this time. But it's almost immediately it goes back to G minor. So all these chromatic notes here, they kind of make up the friction that is the pain in the melancholy. And we're back in G minor. And now comes another one of these super lovely, amazing plays. The melody has this scale that just goes up toward the sky, and this is pure melancholic bliss. Tchaikovsky can truly be unparalleled when it comes to sweet melody quality sometimes. It's also perfectly balanced. First it goes up and then it comes down in 2 steps. Let's just play it again. Down in steps. And this is a major 7th chord. If you add this, that's a lovely chord. Again. But the second time it goes here instead. This is a new... What is this? It's F sharp, so it's back to the G minor territory. So the reason I'm talking about F sharp so much is that it's part of what's called a dominant 7th chord. And that chord points straight to home, G minor in this case. Left hand answers. And so we're back. And now we get this initial melody, a repetition of it for a full duration again, as the last part of this section. And now, for the last chord, we expect the G minor, but here starts the middle section, and it starts with a surprise when it shifts to G major instead. So. Now, this is really the proper barcarolle element of the piece, I would say. So a barcarolle is this Venetian boat song, and it's got the quality of rocking back and forth like when you're on the sea. And here Tchaikovsky achieves this by the left hand plays on syncopation, so between the beats, that creates this rocking. So, there are two other very famous barcarolles in the classical repertoire. You have one major piano work by Chopin, Barcarolle in F sharp major, and one opera duet by Offenbach from The Tales of Hoffmann, Belle Nuit or Nuit d'Amour. And in both of those examples, as well as this one, you have the melody, kind of a simple, easygoing melody in major and played in thirds. So take for example Chopin's Barcarolle in F sharp major. Thirds. And now the Tchaikovsky melody here. It's really lovely. And after the first statement here, the left hand kind of starts to interfere a bit with the right hand. And it kind of grows immediately into this kind of a march in triple time. Allegro giocoso. Giocoso means happily or merrily, and you really get a nice blossoming outburst here. Echo. You get this amazing climax, typical Tchaikovsky, when you have a lot of notes but of the same chords, like this diminished chord. And then the response in the left hand. And the fermata. So fermata means we're staying on this note for some time. And then we have the return of the initial melody in minor now. Basically now we're gonna get the full repeat of the first section, but it's slightly different now. Now the left hand has a little more to say in this dialogue. So we have this. This melody. Are more spread out now in the left hand. Now you know what's gonna come, it's the amazing plays. You can play this all day long. Sometimes I can hold this major 7th chord note, hold it over the next bar like this. Back to G minor. likes his repetitions in his music. Now we have one page of coda left, the closing section of the whole piece. And we have this other typical Tchaikovsky sound. It's kind of staying in G minor now for a long time. It kind of reminds you of something from the Nutcracker, you know. We also have this dialogue with the hands for a final time here. And now we're gonna have quite a long episode of just kind of closing chords, but with this syncopation in the left hand from the middle section again. So a little bit of Barcarolle feeling. Just fading out on these G minor chords in the high register. Normally, you would kind of expect a piece as called June to have more energy in it, like flowers and animals buzzing in the wild in the summer, that kind of feeling. But I suppose there's also room for this mysterious sadness from the poem. So if you imagine it's late at night in the summer, up here in the north, it can be very light late at night because the sun sets so late. So if it's totally still and quiet and you're like at the shore and looking out over the sea, this can definitely be the right music for that moment. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and support my work on Patreon at patreon.com/sonatasecrets. And stay tuned for a new video every week.